girls gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind.
Yes, sir.
We're rolling.
Oh, no, Mecky. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, get down, little dog. Wait for your cue. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Put on the brakes. Put on the brakes. Yeah, we're a little off center there, Terry.
We won't be in for long.
Philo. Yeah. In the booth, on the board, we have the College of Musical Knowledge and the master of the TriCaster, Philo T. Farnsworth himself.
The Grandmaster of Mayhem.
Yeah, that's about it. And you are here. Well, where are we? Who are we? What are we doing here? How did I get here? What am I doing? You are watching. Thanks, Philo. You're watching It's News to Us. We're Newport Shoulders TV News. What is new? Here, new brown cow. And we're back from the holidays. Thank God it's over. We had adult themes in adult language. You're advised. That's right. Put the adults to bed. Let the kids watch. They know more than you do anyways. And beware of the Bronze Age invisible sky god. He lives in the clouds. He's going to beat you and forgive you and beat you and forgive you. Just it's all in Leviticus. Don't eat pork. Don't wear polyester and cotton or you'll be stoned to death. Stone them. And we're all inclusive here. We cater to men, women, women, and everybody. Y'all welcome here.
Now, don't forget LGBTQ C3POR2D2.
Yeah, hoofties, pufties, bung-eyed heifers, right and left wig wackos, woodchucks and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom.
In the news, of course, we have this big thing about the dump.
Oh, man. First things first.
Okay.
Remember I told you about, I don't know, probably 5 months ago about how the Pentagon can't account for, they're supposed to do their first audit ever. Oh, and we're watching Triumph of the Will with Uncle Adolf. Because let's face it, we are the new Nazis. We took them all in after the war. Rat lines, got them to Paraguay, and now, I'm reading a thing about Harry Truman. In the Truman Committee during World War II, he tried to find out what was going on with the aluminum and magnesium production, Philo.
Yeah.
Come to find out, our corporations had binding contracts with IG Farben, Jerkin. And so the Nazis were still, right up until December 7th of 41, the Nazis were, and even then they were working with Standard Oil, Alcoa aluminum. It's just insane. But anyways, we are the new Nazis. Let's face it. And when, God forbid, when Trump comes in and says we're going to stop the war, I have never seen anything like this. What happened to my Democratic Party? What happened to them? They used to be anti-war. Oh, now it's all, we can't go, you can't stop bombing people. What about the turds, Philo?
Well, he's running into the same thing several presidents have run into, and that's the military is running the show, period.
Yep. Obama used to call it the blob.
Yep, and you know what? Even when he tried to shut Guantanamo Bay, he found out he couldn't do it. He found out that every time he turned around, they wanted more military buildup, and when he didn't do it, they called him feckless, like a certain insane McCain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God rest his soul. I'm sorry, but it was all the same.
Death to the warmongers. But and I'm watching Hartman today earlier, and he's all like, black men, Messiah, we walk on water, orange man bad. And it's like, he's saying, well, it's because of Reagan and Bush and all these people, they Central Americans, and now they're all Nazis, and now that's why they're coming up here. And he even admitted, he says, these people down on the border, they're not coming here looking for a job. They're refugees. No, they're coming here looking for welfare. They don't want a job. Anyways, oh my God. Excuse me, it's getting worse. And he tries to... When the truth be that as soon as Obama got elected, he allowed the military and our CIA or whatever, we can't mention their name, to overthrow Manuel Zelaya, and they brought back in a military dictatorship in Honduras, and that's worked out so well, so well. But anyways, we told you, Pentagon got charged with being having an audit. The audit didn't, the audit was the audit. And guess what? They can't account for, yeah, here it is, front page of the Nation. They can't account for $21 trillion. And here's where I'm agreeing with Alexandria Occasional Kotex. That little nutcase that they elected from Brooklyn or whatever with the Sanpuco eyes and stuff. You know, she's saying, of course we can have Medicare for all. Thanks, fellow. We could, you know, I mean, the Pentagon can't account for 21 trillion. 21 trillion from 1998 to 2017. They just, you know, they just can't account for it, man.
Well, hey, someone's got to pay for those $1,000 turlets.
Yeah, oh yeah.
$1,000 for a turlet.
And, I mean, thankfully, whether you like it or not, they've got this Shanahan guy in there, this gingerhead from Boeing. He has no military experience, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Why is camera 2 blinking, Philo?
Probably because it's on.
Huh. Well, that's weird.
Let me go take a look at it. I don't know why it's blinking.
You know, in the old days, they used to have, I mean, that was the dead giveaway that you were recording. I mean, in politicians and other swindlers. Oh, it just stopped. And other swindlers, they would see the red light and they would know they'd be on camera, and then they'd straighten up and fly right or act different, if you know what I mean. But anyways, exposing the Pentagon's massive accounting fraud. Spending keeps rising while the DOD cooks the books. And on November 15th, Ernst & Young and other private firms hired on the Pentagon announced they couldn't complete the job. Congress had ordered an independent audit of the DOD, the largest discretionary cost center, which received 54 cents out of every dollar in appropriations annually because the Pentagon had failed for decades to audit itself. The firms concluded, however, that their financial records were so riddled with bookkeeping deficiencies, irregularities, and errors that a reliable audit was simply impossible. And what did Shanahan say about this, Terry?
I'm not sure.
Get this. He tries to put a shine on this turd by saying, he says, well, I'm going to shine the turd here for you. He says, we failed the audit, but we never expected to pass it, Shanahan suggested. The department should get credit for the effort. You get an E for effort. And the audit was on a $2.7 trillion organization, so the fact that we did the audit is substantial. The truth is that they were dragged kicking and screaming by bipartisan frustration in Congress. And had it been a major corporation, their stock would have crashed. But anyways, you can see this at thenation.com. Read the whole article. It's long form. It's only about 3 pages, but I know that's tough for people with short attention spans. But here it is. And who yours truly told you about this, because except for a little blurb on Forbes and NPR last year, you know, they just, well, there was no mention of it.
There's a problem with this camera.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what it is, but...
It was working fine. Don't touch it.
Yeah. No, there's a problem there. It won't come on. I'll switch over to that camera in a minute. I've got to figure out what this is doing. Keep going.
Yeah, so there you go, www.nation.com, and man, oh man, here, where do we go with local news? Oh my God, front page news about this this negress who quit, the representative from Bennington. What the hell's her name? Ruquaya Morris, and she, you know, look, we've all been beat up. Look, honey, it's not just because you're black, because when white people when white people don't have black people to beat up on, they beat up on other white people. I remember when I was a kid, because my mother had to shoot her mouth off to say how anti-communist she was in the 50s when she started learning English, and the reporters called her up and she was too stupid to say, no, I don't want to talk to you about communism, socialism, capitalism, or any other thing. Oh no, she's going on about Stalin and this and that, and Khrushchev's probably a better deal, and and next thing you know, and when the Cuban Missile Crisis happens, yours truly was in first grade, it's like next thing you know, man, we got like death threats, we got swastikas painted on the road in front of our house. That was like, we had like a Cocker Spaniel before that, but then after that, man, after that incident, I remember my dad getting a big-ass Shepherd, and one time, somebody came up, tried to screw with our house when we weren't there, and that Shepherd dove right through one of the garage door windows, Philo. He was after him.
I gotta move over to this camera. That one won't come on.
You got it.
For some reason, the power supply is messed up.
You got it zoomed for this one?
I did.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
I'll have to switch that over.
So it looks like the red light was a warning light after all.
Could be. Let's see what we got here.
Yep. So anyways, here's the negress right here, and I'm thinking, if you look at the before and after pictures of this woman, Philo, I'm thinking the reason she bailed out is because she had to get a new wardrobe. You look at one picture to another, I think she's gained about, probably looked like about 100 pounds, man. Yeah, anyways, her name is Ruquaya, oh, here it is. Okay, now here's the before picture of Ruquaya, right here. You can see that, Philo, thank you. There's the before picture of Ruquaya, and here's the after picture of Ruquaya. Wow! Notice a difference here, Philo?
Just a tad.
Just a tad.
Just a tad.
Yeah, it's all, who cares what color you are? You're a quitter, man. Then she waited till after the primaries to box out. So anyways, it turns out that there's some troll, I don't know, some Nazi moron, look, I'm not going to apologize for my white brothers and sisters because they're just as crazy as your black brothers and sisters. Anyways.
Sometimes crazier.
Pardon me?
Sometimes crazier.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Anyways, this nutcase called Mish. Can you hear that chainsaw?
Yeah, I can. Who's got a chainsaw in the studio?
I don't know, man. Is Freddy Krueger here? What's going on? I'm now able to commence my trolling, Mish told the Burlington Free Press. Morris and her husband brought Mish's social media post to the Bennington police. They described him as a local neo-Nazi. Well, here's the thing. You don't want to be bothered by on social media? Stay the hell off social media. Get rid of the cell phones and change your email, whatever. What the hell? If you can't stand the heat, honey, get out the kitchen. It's just that simple. So what does she do? She trolls the trolls. In a police report, they said the only action Mish claimed he would do is troll her at a rally. So she went back, and so the DA later agreed that when she reviewed the case, they, both of them. Now she's going back and forth with this white guy. Oh, and he shows up at a rally and looks at her. She's scared crapless. But when she's safely behind her four walls and on her little stupid ass cell phone, he's sitting there and she's just feeding the trolls, going back and forth. This is what the DA said. They were engaging in a lot of conversation with him. So it was a lot of back and forth. That, to me, shows a lack of fear. And Ruquaya disputes the claim, and that she engaged in a lot of back and forth. It's a very odd comment to make from someone who's supposed to be predicting the public. Well, you don't answer the trolls.
Don't live under the bridge.
Yeah. A week later, the Internet Crimes Task Force wrote a memo to clarify to state troopers that they were ready to examine the computer to obtain possible evidence from an exam to advance the investigation. There was an impression that the task force recommended that no exam be conducted, he wrote. I'm writing this report to correct that impression. He said he tried to reach Chief Dushit 5 days earlier to speak about the case, leaving him a voicemail, but he didn't return the call. Rukwaya said she spoke with the chief and learned that no action had been taken on the computers. She described the inaction as one of the tipping points in her decision to leave office. So the AG of the state, Donovan, TJ, which stands for either too Jewy or when it comes to police shootings, totally justified, TJ announced that his office would work with the state police and appropriate forensic computer experts to investigate the online threats. So 10 days after she got the nomination for a third term, she announced she's dropping out. The last 2 years have been emotionally difficult for many. Political discourse, and in particular within the sphere of social media, has been divisive, inflammatory, and at times even dangerous. In September, her and her husband reported that youths were repeatedly banging and knocking on their windows and doors at night and running off into the darkness.
Wasn't that a song? It's a little bit dangerous.
Wasn't
that a song?
Me. You're the College of Musical Knowledge.
Some sort of stupid pop song from the 80s, but I'm not sure what it was.
It was really distressing to know that our chief of police thought it was just kids being kids. It was. If they didn't break your windows, if they didn't throw a rock or a burning Molotov cocktail through your window, chances are, honey, it's just kids trying to get a rise out of you. And like kids will do, they'll just keep on doing it as long as they see it riles you, you fool. So anyways, and now we've got some other advocate up here, a racial justice educator. I'm not even going to mention this woman's name. We know who she is. She's some local whiner. And as a matter of fact, I think her kid was busted down, St. J or something for, I don't know, sexual improprieties with a girl that was under 15 or something. But we won't mention that.
Hey, after the show, tell me who that is. I'm interested now.
Okay. So anyways, the neo-Nazi said he felt a satisfaction when she resigned. I thought I won. I did. I didn't threaten her whatsoever. Nothing online. I didn't threaten her or nothing. So anyways, where is it? Said the harassment she experienced sparked a fire for working on legislation and speaking out more strongly about racial justice. That fire led her to transfer to the Judiciary Committee for a second term and work on several high-profile pieces of legislation like a resolution in support of Black Lives Matter that led to a contentious floor debate and an ethnic studies bill. Yeah, put it on a studies bill, send it to committee, and it's gonna die a miserable death somewhere in the bowels of Mount Peculiar. Dushit did not respond to requests for an interview. The police chief. One summer night in 2013, Bennington Police Detective Peter Urbanowitz noticed a large African-American man in the passenger seat of a cab that had stopped to ask for directions to a Chinese restaurant. Urbanowitz testified that he knew officers were looking for a large African-American man named Sizzle. So it looks like Paul LePage was right. Shifty Smoothie and D-Money, Philo.
Evidently, that's the case, isn't it?
They're out looking for Sizzle because Sizzle's going to bring some sizzling hot heroin and fentanyl into Bennington, and it's killing people, but we don't want to profile black people for bringing in heroin. No, we should be stopping white grandma Presbyterian ladies because, we need our quotas of stops and searches. Yeah, or profiling. Of course you profile, fool. It's called police work, you idiot.
Actually, I think it's Presbyterian. Didn't Archie Bunker call it Presbyterian?
Yeah, maybe it's a congregationalist, Philo. They're looking for sizzle, so they decided to search the passenger. The Pabst passenger, Samel Alexander, would not sizzle, but he did have 11 grams of heroin on him. Okay then, so he's pure as the driven snow, right? Wrong. He's got 11 grams of junk on him. 11 grams. For each gram, there's what, that's about 10 doses each or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Good God, man. In 2016, the Vermont Supreme Idiots overturned his conviction, ruling that the police lacked a reasonable suspicion for the search. Well, just because he's black and black people are selling heroin, it's no reason to put two and two together, mister. By Jesus, you're supposed to be police. Don't you know that?
I don't know much of anything anymore.
Good grief, man. It gets better.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
Chief Dushett brushed aside the idea that the ruling was a sign that the Bennington piggies needed to change. Racial profiling did not go on within the agency, Dushett told Eva McKend. God bless Eva McKend. She was a cool little black girl. She used to be on the news at WCAX. She hightailed out of there and went to Washington, D.C., probably for better pay. God bless you, Eva. You know, she was cute and she was funny, man. She started off behind the desk as this scared little girl with glasses. Remember, Philo?
I think so.
And like within a year, they had her in friggin' nice outfits, you know, like bright colors that accented her complexion, and she ditched the glasses for contacts. And this girl had it going on, and there she couldn't be flustered. One time I caught her, they had this idiot got busted for crack or coke or something, some white moron with facial tattoos. Now, nothing says hire me or I'm a good worker or a normal citizen like facial tattoos, especially with lightning bolts and SWAT stickers. That just makes you stand out as an upright moral citizen, right, Philo?
I totally agree. I totally agree, Steve.
So she's reading the news, and they put up the guy's face in the blocks up in the corner, and she couldn't help but laughing, right? So I emailed her after the show. I said, Eva, it's okay. It's okay to laugh. I know it may seem unprofessional, but, you know, when you see some idiot like that with facial tattoos, you know, come on. But anyways, back to Eva McKen.
Yes.
UVM professor Stephanie Seguino and Cornell professor Nancy Brooks released a study of police traffic stops the following year, showing that black drivers in Bennington were searched more than 5.5 times as often as whitey drivers. The disparity was widespread, showing traffic stop records of 22 of the 24 officers the professors examined. Frustrated by the police and the town's refusal to address buyout issues, the ACLU sued the town of Bennington and the pig department too. U.S. District Court Judge Godfrey Crawford handed the civil rights advocate a crucial victory last summer, ruling that they had presented a reasonable case that Dushett and Bennington failed to train or supervise officers, and that failure amounted to deliberate indifference. Not negligence, not anything illegal, indifference. Now show me where indifference even shows up as a word in any of the Vermont law books.
Oh, somebody must have made it up somewhere.
It's got to be in there, right? Police records show a series of indifference and uncomfortable.
Oh, that's in the law books, that's for sure.
Uncomfortable incidents that began during the 2016 election. Morris saw the Twitter post from Mish in August. 2 months later, somebody entered her home, possibly through an unlocked basement door. Now look, honey, I don't lock my doors either, but I'm carrying a .357. You know, hey, my house is open. You want to come in? You're hungry? Throw a log into the wood stove for me? You know, we need to warm up for a while. Be my guest. You know, you're going to leave when I come home, I hope, but, you know, unless you're waiting for me.
Put another log on the fire.
Yeah. I don't want to let the mofo burn. Burn, mofo, burn. Anyways.
We try not to have a good time here.
So here she is. She's all worried about her security and everything, Philo, but she leaves her cellar door unlocked. Okay.
A lunkhead.
Oh, yeah. She's a real genius, she is. About 100 of her husband's ties were missing, several of them strewn around the cemetery across the street from their house.
That's an awful thing to do to a tie. I have 35 ties, and I would never do such a thing. No joke.
I've got some ties I would gladly give you, and you can take them to the cemetery or wherever else. They're horrible. But you know, nothing like telling people where you live. Hey, she lives right next to the cemetery. Go get the black woman. Open season for racist. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah, police reports show no arrests in the case. Next day, not far from Morrison Lawton's home. Now, who's Lawton? I'm presuming that that's her husband. So if they're married, they don't use the same name. What the hell? Till death do us part. I don't get it.
I've seen that happen before. Remember Felix Pappalardi?
Yeah, from Mountain.
Yeah, his wife never took his name. She kept the name Gail Collins.
God bless you. My wife's maiden name was so stupid that she kept my name after we split up. I ain't kidding you. Their last name sounded like a drag queen. Anyways, the next day, staff at the Democratic Party office in Bennington found a packet of racially charged images that someone had slid under the door. My campaign sign was like front and center on the windows. It just didn't seem random. A Democratic staffer also reported a harassing phone call. No arrests were made, though. A harassing phone call. That's illegal, too. You know, if it's threatening, but if it's harassing, it's not illegal. We got freedom of speech. Fool. God almighty. Morse and her husband installed a camera and a new lock and changed their daily habits. Well, you got to change your habit. Just ask the nuns. If you don't change your habit, you start smelling like, old onions, cottage cheese, and mothballs. On Election Day 2016, she was standing outside the department back door at the fire department when she saw Mish watching her. As Mish left the polling place, he stopped and looked at her for about 10 seconds, according to witnesses and police reports. Then he took a few steps before turning towards her again, Philo. They've been afraid and concerned for my safety throughout this ordeal. I cannot live in fear anymore, she wrote on her stalking order for Mish. When the incident came up in civil court, Mish denied that he had stared at her for any length of time. He said he was worried that she was electioneering too close to the polls. That's right, because if you're running for office, you can't be within, 75 feet, Philo?
I don't know, but down here at the town office, just last election, they were all over right in front of the building.
Well, let's have them arrested then.
Well, I don't know how close they were to the polling place or the room or what it is called, but I don't care. If I don't
Get
want to
out
talk
the
to you,
tape measure.
Yeah, I don't care. If I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you.
Get out the tape measure. You better be at least 50 feet from the polls, or else you're going to get a poll up your you-know-what.
You know, the Poles or the Czechs, or is it the Romanians or the Hungarians?
Stay away from the Hungarians, mister.
Maybe it is the Poles. I'm not sure.
Let's see. He said he was worried. Without a lawyer by his side, Misha also made disparaging statements in court about Jewish people and African Americans. Oh, no, don't go after the Jews, buddy.
That's it. That's when you've had it. That's when that's when the hammer comes down on you.
He defended the image he'd posted on Twitter. She returned to Montpelier the following January with a new committee. Now, get this. All right, it's bad enough that she's whining over feeding the trolls when it's her own fault for feeding the trolls and being on the stupid friggin' cell phone all the time anyways, right? She wants to change laws. Listen to this. It just...
Bless you, Mac. I'm watching him. He's gyrating. I wish I had a camera for him.
Can I get you a Kleenex? Dog. It just put a fire in me. She became more pointed in her critiques and gave a floor speech in support of Black Lives Matter in 2017. This is not a question of whether some lives matter more than others, but an acknowledgement, honoring, and calling out the disparate treatment of black Vermonters and black Americans. Oh, here's this other racial justice educator from the Northeast Kingdom was in the House to hear her speech. For me to be in the room and see a black woman representative in this state talk about an impossible dream, I was just creaming my pants. Morris also proposed legislation. Okay, here we are. One, that would force schools to change their curriculum to recognize marginal groups, overhaul the Vermont hate crimes law, outlaw racial profiling by police, and create a whole new office and bureaucracy to examine systemic racism in state government. Okay, I'm sure that just went right out of committee and right to the governor's desk, right, Philo?
Yep, along
Like
with a
the
bunch of
kids,
other stuff.
the kids aren't learning squat as it is. You want to bring in some racial, what? Racial and bit, and then more hate crimes laws, and then profiling. Come on, like we said, if it's black people slinging dope up here, then it's black people that are going to be pulled over, honey. I'm sorry, that's life in the real world. You try being a cop, okay? Anyways, Morris says, we don't have time to hold hands and slowly wait for another day. That day was yesterday. Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, your days are over. You're done. You're a quitter.
Dazed and confused.
You know, if you'd stayed, you could have lapped up that gravy at, what is it, $600 a week now or something stupid?
Dazed and confused, maybe.
Yeah, well, but the thing, you know, you got to drive from Bennington to Montpelier every day, Philo? Think about that.
No,
That's like
they stay overnight.
Yeah, that's like a 2-hour drive, right?
Yeah, I mean, our legislators, I think it's about an hour 15 for us, our guys,
Yeah.
something like that. They find a place down there, you know?
Well, unless you're Senator Stupid, Bobby Starr, that guy's got a lead foot like you read about.
He used to room with Kilmartin. I don't know who he's rooming with now.
Yeah, I heard he roomed with people, all right, if you know what I mean.
Well, as long as they're ladies, who cares?
As long as they're consenting, right?
Exactly. What the hell do I care?
And here we go. This is from today's paper. Orange man bad. Very bad. Orange man bad. That's all you got to remember. Orange man bad. Negro man walked on water. Yeah. Very, very bad. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, did you notice my transition is orange? See?
Yeah. Did you plan it that way, Philo?
No, but it just worked out, I guess, didn't it?
And here we are. Don't you love this? Oh, we need diversity. Oh, and get this. Not only is the paper canned, Debbie Salomon, who wrote one of the best food columns ever, she would always tell people how to save money and make their own this and make their own that, right, Philo?
Yeah.
They not only did they can Debbie Solomon, who moved down to North Carolina, but she still wrote for the paper. Now they're going to can old Art Wolfschitz. So this is the last column about Wolfschitz. We'll never see Wolfschitz again, thank God. But look at these new Americans in the swimming pool, Philo, and one of them, look at the girl there swimming in her pajamas with a hood on.
Yep.
That's a great way to swim, right? And what is she doing being around half-naked boys? Stone her. Mohammed says you must stone her.
Okay, go get the marijuana. We'll stone her.
God almighty.
Right? You got to get her good and stoned?
I'll bet she got beaten when she got home.
I'll get a story to tell you after the show about something that happened out at our camp a couple of years ago. Speaking of being fully clothed and going in the water. I'll tell you all about it.
And get this. I told you on Hartman's show he's just saying orange man bad, everything bad, Obama's walked on water, yada, yada, yada. He's saying, oh, there's nobody coming over the border. There's no problems with defense or nothing. But according to this, the Border Patrol has detained 139,000, almost 140,000 on the southwest border, and just in the past 2 months, compared to 75,000 roughly the same period last year. That includes 68,000 family units and 14,000 unaccompanied minors. Excuse me. So these kids are just coming up here, no adults or nothing. And then, oh yeah, Philo, you've had kids. You'd take them camping in the desert and with nothing but a gallon of water, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, right. Sure.
Yeah. Let's go hiking probably 100, 200 miles through the Sonoran Desert. Yeah, nothing but a gallon of water. That's okay. Well, you know what? They should be busted for child abuse. Arrested for child abuse, get them a record, and then send them back down to Guadalupe or whatever. And look at that fence. Isn't that great? Yeah, that stops people. Look at it. You got the wets on one side and the Border Patrol on the other with a big gaping hole in there, and that's typical of the fence. And trust me, I've been there. I lived in San Diego for 6, 7 years. And you can watch them come across in waves, man. Yeah, Felipe died. The kids died. Well, of course they died. They were sick. Oh, and did you hear about this? Dr. Splooge, Philo?
Nope.
Dr. Dirty. He uses... His girl wanted to be inseminated in the late 70s, right? So he told her he was getting sperm from a medical student at UVM. He used his own, Philo.
Nice.
And this is from today's paper. Couple accuses a Vermont doctor of fraud and battery. Now, in the original article, they said they were asking for 75 grand. But, you know, technically he wasn't wrong, Philo, because he was once a medical student, right?
I guess so.
If he was a doctor. So can you imagine Dr. Splooge? Yeah, wait a minute. I'll be right back. I just got to go get the sample. I got to stop in the bathroom for a minute. Hey, anybody got a hustler? I'll be right back. Yeah, okay, we're all ready to go with the procedure.
Was that Max thumping back there?
No, that was the doctor.
Where is Mac? Where did he go?
Dr. Splooge. Oh, and it turns out that they filed a lawsuit against the manufacturer of the nuclear waste casks, Philo.
Wow.
Yeah. The steel and concrete cask without a written evaluation violating the safety rules. They made changes after they discovered a loose bolt at San Onofre out in California.
That's not good.
Oh, no. The NRC has confirmed the safety of the canisters. It said it doesn't agree with the severity level of the apparent violation. Last month, regulators approved the sale of Vermont Yank Me, Yank You, Yank Us to North Star. The company plans to start decommissioning no later than 2021. Okay, right. And who was on that board or whatever at the waste crap nuclear stockpile junk in Texas, Philo, remember? Mrs. Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Wonder how much she gets paid for that. And get this. Oh, here's a big 28 tune, 28 tune. Jewels in the crown, sealed with a kiss. Yep, that's it. They're not royals. They're inbred welfare bums, okay? And old Ginger Snap over there, that balding kid, he married an American high yella. I hope he had Mommy check her gums and give her the virginity test, Philo, like they used to do with all the princesses in the old days.
Not that it would really meant anything.
Yeah. Okay, cough. Oh, man. Oh, and hey, Tricky Retardo, our Juban police chief, that's right, he's half Cuban, half Jewish, that makes him a Juban. He won't release the name of the driver in a fatal hit-and-run, Philo. Huh. I wonder if it's some rich punk or, some progressive. What the hell's going on with that? This is the first time ever. And here's the picture right here, the crash. It's too bad they blurred out the license plate number. We could probably find out who it was by that picture alone. But he was some young little rich prick. Oh, sure. Who is this kid? You know what I mean? Get this. This is the first time ever, Philo. This is the first time in 50 years of reporting they refused me a name, said Mike Donahue, the First Amendment Coalition and a former Free Press reporter. What Burlington is doing here is preposterous. It's not the first time that someone felt bad after a fatal accident. Del Bozo, Tricky Retardo's argument, in this case, the driver was and remains a second victim after his car hit and fatally wounded Jonathan Jerome, 61, of Winooski. Oh, yeah, he's a victim. Oh, he's severely traumatized. Never mind that he ran over some old Jewish guy, 2 first names, go figure.
Ah,
Jonathan Jerome. Are you kidding me? Forgive me, my old buddy Mitch Jerome. He was one of the best tool and die makers I ever worked with from Chicago. He looked just like Johnny Carson, too, Philo.
no kidding.
Yeah, old Mitch was
Wow.
he was a rip snorter, man.
I bet so.
Yeah, 5 p.m. on December 20th. If we had issued a ticket, if he had been at fault, of course he'd be identified. He'd be publicly reconciled with his action. The unique circumstances prompted police to keep the accident report and related documents in draft form and temporarily exempt from public scrutiny. After 30 days, the completed report must be submitted to the DMV, which typically makes all of its report public, including the name. Police said the driver, a young man in his 20s, had been neither speeding nor distracted on his phone at the time of the crash, nor had he seen Jerome, who had been wearing dark clothes and crossing at an unmarked, low-lit portion of the road at Poirier Place. It's clear that the driver had been traumatized by what's happened to him.
Boy, I guess so.
We're giving a person the time to process what happened before his name is exposed to the world, said Tricky Retardo.
Wow.
Donahue argues that shielding the names of people involved in the accident opens the possibility that piggies will play favorites with privileged motorists at the risk of political or professional embarrassment. Carrying this to the extreme would mean that no drivers involved in any crashes on any public highways will be identified by the BPD. That was never the intent of the public records law. If left unchallenged, the case-by-case interpretation, when a motorist should be identified, could spread to other aspects of law enforcement in other communities. You think? That's like my buddy, what should I call him? LaRue. Jimmy LaRue, right? Father had a lot of money, well-connected, knew everybody in the State House. You remember those orange barrels they had at construction sites, Philo?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
With the blinking lights on them?
Yep.
LaRue's father had the concession for that, and he charged the state something stupid like $50 a day for every barrel, okay?
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, he had some friends, and he made some ching, right?
I bet so.
And LaRue, being an only child, and I think he was bisexual, he grabbed me one night, kissed me on the lips, for Christ's sakes, at Meek's party. I'm all, what the hell are you doing? Anyways, LaRue, being a coke dealer, he sold the coke that killed Lowell George from Little Feat, the rock band. Anyways, LaRue gets busted. He driving back from Boston. He picked up, I don't know, like 2 or 3 pounds of blow, right? And he can't wait till he gets home to do some. He can't pull over on the right side of the road like any normal person. Oh, no. LaRue pulls right over into the median of the highway on Route 2, and he's sitting there shoveling blow up his nose, right? Along comes the trooper. It's all like, hey, can I help you, ma'am? He's here. LaRue looks at him. He got long hair and a beard. He's there. I'm not no ma'am. Anyways, you know how he got out of it?
How's that?
Nothing in the papers. Nothing about the bust in the paper, because Daddy had the juice, right?
Yeah.
He got out of it because he was in a rental car, and he was smart enough to have the majority of the blow in the trunk. So that way, he couldn't tell what was in the car when he rented it. How's he supposed to know there was 2 or 3 pounds of coke in the trunk, Philo?
Was it regular or diet?
I think it had aspartame and cut with inositol.
Probably, I'll bet you, even with a bit of cyclamates or saccharin. Remember those stupid things?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those were horrible sweeteners.
Cyclamates. This sounds like something you get from wearing bicycle pants too long.
I think I've had that.
Yeah. And get this. Front page. Brave, Beautiful Outlaws, a lesbian photography exhibit down in New York City. And how does this relate to Vermont, Philo?
You'll have to ask the Free Press, because I've lost all interest in that paper.
Because this woman lives up in, I don't know, Victory or some damn thing. And, oh yeah, the outlaws, brave and beautiful outlaws. You know what? By 1972, you know, the cops never bothered lesbians. They bothered drag queens and queers and stuff like that, but they rarely bothered lesbians, Philo, rarely, right?
Yeah?
Because it was hard to tell whether they were queer or not. But anyways, you know what? I'll tell you what an outlaw is, honey. An outlaw is somebody like yours truly who gets stuck up in the middle of New Hampshire with, I don't know, about 10, 15 pounds of bud, all dried up and ready to go, and they abandoned me like a redheaded stepchild, so I had no option but to run the stuff 60 miles back to Massachusetts to my home. And there was no way I could cover it up, no way I could cover up the smell, right, Philo? So I had one of those Monzas, remember the like a Vega station wagon?
Yeah.
It was a two-door station wagon, coolest little car. That thing used to rip, man. It had a little four-banger in it. And so I just said to hell with it. I took it all down, I clipped it off, I put stuffed it all into shopping bags, laid it out all over the back of the damn car, picked up a 6-pack of friggin' Becks, turned up the Grateful Dead, and I just drove home smoking a bone and a butt. I said, screw it. If they're going to get me, they're going to get me, right? That's an outlaw, okay? Being a carpet muncher and taking a few pictures of your fellow outlaws from the 70s is not an outlaw. An outlaw is someone, you know, who just grew and dealt weed to his friends and family and had to worry about the knock on the door, whether it's going to be some jackass with a warrant or, you know, some friendly. Yeah, and come on, outlaws, give me a break, would you please?
Could be worse. Could be the in-laws.
Yeah. God almighty. I had pretty cool in-laws, though.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, my father-in-law was a Navy SEAL. They used to call him frogmen. He used to slit Japs' throats. And speaking of slitting throats, because they couldn't use weapons, they'd give the noise would give them away. It looks like the Muslims slit the Jews' throats, Philo.
When was this?
Remember, I brought it up on the show about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and because they'd robbed these guys. Well, they didn't rob them, they killed them. They cut all their throats. They're all Jewish kids, and they left them there to die. And they left all the weed and all the cash, and they'd sprinkled weed all over them. And it turns out that one of their prime suspect was this Sarnia Muslim jackalope, because the Muslims have a woody for the Jews, like you read about. Boston Marathon bomber Joe Kitch's convictions and death sentence could be tossed because it was impossible for him to get a fair trial. Let's see. They're also challenging the judge's refusal to allow the defense to tell the jury about evidence tying Tamerlane to the killings of 3 people in the Boston suburb of Waltham in 2011. The defense sought to use the killings, oh my God, to underscore their argument that Tamerlane was the mastermind and coerced his brother into participating in the bombing and the attacks. Prosecutors have said that Tamerlane's friend, Ibrahim Todashev, implicated in the killings of 3 men whose bodies were found sprinkled with marijuana with their throats cut. Ibrahim Todashev was shot to death by the FBI agent after authorities said he charged another investigator with a pole while being questioned about the Sarnievs. Remember, that was in Florida at some restaurant, right?
I believe so.
It's like, what the hell? I mean, thank God for the FBI. They've saved us a lot of time and money by blowing this Muslim wacko's ass away. But the thing is, don't allow any more of these wackos in the country. It's just that simple. Look at what's going on in England as we speak, Philo. They're rowing across the damn channel like an invasion force. I mean, it looks like Dunkirk all over again. You know what I mean?
They should make them swim.
Yeah. Just put on a wetsuit, lather yourself up, and swim the channel like they did in the old days.
If you can make it, fine. If not, too bad.
That's a hell of a moat, mister.
Why do you think they put it there?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. But that's okay. Okay. Oh, and here we are. It's bad enough that we got welfare. It's bad enough that we got welfare mommies. But now we're supposed to pity the welfare mommy junkies, Philo. Oh, yes. More coddling the junkies. That's exactly what we need to do. Give them free needles, methadone, government-sponsored dope. You know, even though methadone was invented by the Nazis and it causes heart damage from long-term use, that's okay. We'll use our tax dollars, and we got to make sure that every EMT and cop on the planet has Narcan, which costs about, what, I don't know, $500 a blast to revive these junkies' asses anyways. It's just insane, man. Who cares for the child? Oh, you got that right. Who cares? Vermont lost 7% of regulated child care spots over the past 3 years. Oh, my. Frankly, there are times that somebody, especially if they're from a small town, talks about their former heroin addiction, and lo and behold, they're ostracized in a whole new way in Vermont. It's one of those things you can't take back once you go public. You think? Duh. So even in Lund material, we mostly use stock photos, which is painful. It's hard. The stigma is unbelievable. Oh, yeah. You know what? Don't put the needle in your vein, fool. There's a clue for you. Oh, and here we are. Oh, here we are. Okay, we got to rip through these because we're running late.
Yeah, you got about 7 minutes.
Oh, and speaking of which, you know how they say, oh, the Russians screwed with the election, Philo. They spent $100,000 on Facebook troll ads or whatever. Well, come to find, in the New York Times is saying, oh, that $100,000 is spent by the Russians during the election. Oh, my God, it's horrible. Yet Reid Hoffman, this fat-ass bastard who ran LinkedIn, he spends $100,000 to badmouth Judge Roy Moore down in Florida to dig up dirt and fling at him, whether it's true or not. And, you know, funny, we don't hear about that in the papers. It's not even in here.
That's because it's in Florida and they don't know how to run an election anyway.
Yeah.
We know that. 18 years later.
It was Alabama, remember?
Well, actually, it was Florida. 18 years ago, they had an election problem, and they've still got one. They don't know how to count a ballot.
Yeah, well, they know how to count them, all right. They know how to stuff them, too, Philo.
Yeah, or not stuff them.
Here we are. Mad dog, now a spanked puppy. Get out. Get the hell out. I tried to stop this war for 2 years, and you've been holding me back. That's it. Screw. And here we are. Good for Trumpy. I don't care what you think about the guy. We got to get rid of the Fed, okay? Ask Ron Paul. Ask Bernie Sanders about the Fed. It's not, the Federal Reserve is neither federal nor has any reserves. They are a private banking cartel that has the privilege to print money up and then print money up from paper, then lend it into existence from nothing. So they create money from nothing and make money off of our asses. It's got to stop. JFK was going to do the same thing. He wanted to go back to U.S. Treasury notes. It's just insane. And end the wars? Oh, no. Hell no. We don't want to end the wars. No. Brent McQuirk, the U.S. envoy for the coalition against ISIS. What coalition against ISIS? Where do these people come from? Reportedly resigned Friday over the decision to withdraw from Syria. Oh, and here we are. Talk about creepy, man. Oh boy, and here we go, too. Just yesterday, Hiawatha comes out, says she's going to run for president after promising the voters in Massachusetts not 2 months ago. Oh, there's Hairplug Joe and Bad Times Bernie. and here we are here. Yeah, Hiawatha screeches and screams. She's going to make a great candidate. I can't wait. This woman, she's scatterbrains, man. And, you know, she was the Harvard's first woman professor of color, Philo. Yeah, she looks colored to me, all right. Are you kidding me? Philo's more colored than she is, and it's still middle of winter.
Yep.
And I get as dark as Philo does in August. Good grief, man. She's the first woman of color. And here we go. Minister Farrakhan. Oh, yeah, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the notorious RBG, had a whole lobe of her lung removed, and now the Women's March is off because it's a cat fight with that Muslim wacko woman, Philo. You believe that? They said, oh, we canceled the march because there aren't enough people of color. Well, and young people. Well, the young people and people of color usually have to work or whatever. You know, they can't rallies. What the hell? But anyways, Powerful Jews control the world, says Minister Farrakhan. Powerful Jews are my enemy. And he said white Jews control Mexico and several European countries. Well, I think if you follow that up, you'd find it's true. But, you know, they never mention that here. The fact that they're white and Jewish and bankers, and they've been controlling the European banks, since Meyer Amstel Rothschild in the early 1700s. I don't know. But you can't mention it, though. If you mention it, you're a Nazi. Yeah, that's the ticket. A Nazi.
I don't think Farrakhan could be called a white supremacist, do you?
Yeah, that's it. He's a white supremacist.
I
But, you know,
figured
and funny you mention that,
I had it
because
right.
they don't remove him from Twitter. They don't remove his videos from YouTube, Philo.
Hey.
But yet, if you're a whitey like me or anybody in the Northeast Kingdom or in the whole state, if you're white, mister, oh boy, they're dropping people right and left. Sargon of Akkad, oh my God, Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh, it's just a friggin' daisy chain with this Zuckerberg maggot and his cronies shutting the damn thing down.
George Stepan Fetch-a-lot.
Yeah. Women's March International issued multiple statements rejecting Farrakhan's remarks while backing their embattled leaders. We do not support or endorse statements made by Minister Farrakhan about women, Jews, and LGBTQs. Women, Jews, LGBTQs. Women, Jews, LGBTQs.
C-3POs, too.
And CP3POs. Yeah, so it's a cat fight. That's all. You know,
Here,
hey.
kitty, 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 kitty.
Yeah, it all goes back to Linda Sarsour, that Palestinian hack. Unbelievable.
You got
Trump
about 2
orders
minutes.
U.S. forces out of Syria.
You got about 2 minutes, Steve.
Yeah, it just goes on and on. The blob's big lie. Oh, yeah, here we are. Yeah. Oh, and gimme grunt stew. Get this, Philo. They're boiling the immigrants in big kettles. I kid you not, dude. Listen to this, okay? Here it is right here. How they identify the remains of the people found dead in the desert, right? Law would help ID dead gimme grunts. Now get this, way in the back of the article. This is insane. At a lab at Texas State in San Marcos, 30 miles south of Austin, Kate Spradley led a team of volunteer students as they sorted through human remains, boiled the bones in an industrial-sized kettle to remove all the flesh, and analyzed them for age and gender. DNA samples are shipped to another lab in North Texas where they're entered into a database. Boiled in large kettles, Philo. It's like that rap song from like 20 years ago, remember? Gonna make a stew, gonna make a stew, gonna make a stew out of you.
Okay, last but not least, Steve, we're running short.
Oh my God. Yeah, let's see, last but not least.
You're running real short.
Maine governor's success overshadowed by mouth. That's right. Say goodbye to Paul LePage. You're not going to have Paul Le Dummy to kick around anymore. No more Shifty Smoothie and D-Money for the reporters to bat around. That's it. Never mind it's true, but you can't mention that. Oh, no. Never mind they're bringing up dope from New York City and knocking up young white girls. It's true, but you can't mention it. Because, well, you know, you can't mention it. Come on, dipstick. Once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching this stupid show. Hopefully we'll see you again next week, inshallah. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Sit still, fool. And so, until then, get down on your hands and knees. Well, first wave the flies away from your head. Then you get down on your hands and knees, sniff the bum of the guy in front of you in the men-only mosque. Oh, and they're having the same problem with the Hindus in India. They're kicking women out of the mosque. They won't let them in. And then head east and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Akbar. Down, dummy.
Deus magnus est.
You're crazy.
Yeah, but we love him.